AEW has only been a company for 3 short years, but Tony Khan has already burned through some big names. Some, like Cody, went out with a memorable match that paved the way for All Elite's future. Others, meanwhile, were hidden away on lesser-seen programming. With that in mind, I'm Adam Wilborn from What Culture, and these are 10 precise moments when AEW careers ended. Number 10, Joey Janella. Bad boy Joey Janella threatened to break out as a success story in AEW. Early matches against Jon Moxley at Fyter Fest and Kenny Omega showed some faith from the higher-ups, but it was maybe never going to last. Months later, Janella sadly began sliding down the card. That continued until his contract expired on the 1st of May, 2022. Joey's 3-year run came to an end before that date, though. His last All Elite appearance fell on the 1st of February edition of AEW Dark. There, he lost to Lee Moriarty in a spirited back and forth. Spirited, but it was definitely obvious who was supposed to be the star of the piece. Janella got cradled for the pin, and as the ref's hand is just coming down for the 3 count, Janella's then valet Kayla Rossi realized the end was near from ringside. Rossi probably didn't know how correct she was at the time or how final that pinfall would be. Number 9, Chavo Guerrero. Chavo had a cup of coffee style run in AEW. The longtime ex-WWE star debuted on the 21st of July 2021 as Andrade El Idolo's executive consultant. This, on the surface, was a match made in heaven. Chavo can talk, and it made sense to put a mouthpiece with El Idolo ASAP. Yeah, it didn't really take long until Tony Khan changed his mind on that. Andrade decked Guerrero on the 10th of September episode of Rampage after Chavo had interfered in his match against Pac, which helped the handsome bugger score the win. But El Idolo dropped the legend shortly after the bell had sounded, and from there, Chavo went off to film Young Rock, and that was that, aside from some stuff on social media. Number 8, Marco Stunt. Unless you are Rey Mysterio, I think it's fair to say there are only so many times one can work the underdog gig before it grows a little stale. Marco's last AEW match came on the 4th of October 2021 episode of AEW Dark Elevation. He teamed with Fuego del Sol in a loss to Shawn Spears and Wardlow. My apologies. The 6-minute clash went a little longer than expected, but ended when the latter smashed Stunt with his finish and scored the easy pin. News began circulating at the turn of the new year that Marco would be gone when his deal ran out in May, and that proved to be the case. But AEW had already benched Stunt and replaced him in Jurassic Express with Christian Cage. Number 7, Jack Evans. Remember that head-shaving angle involving Jack Evans and Orange Cassidy on the October 2021 Rampage? Yeah, probably not. It'll be one of those moments in the B-Show's history that fans totally forgot about. But that wasn't quite the end of Jack's stint in All Elite. No, his final moments came in a fairly hot match against Dante Martin on the 1st of March 2022 episode of AEW Dark. Evans ate a painful-looking moonsault for the 3 count, and then his contract lapsed at the end of April. In truth, it felt like Jack's run ended after the hair angle. That totally came across like someone leaving the territory, so to speak. Ultimately, the story also did nothing for Evans' career. He slid further down the ranks before being released back onto the indie circuit. I suppose you could say it's a case of hair today, gone tomorrow. Number 6, Stu Grayson. For me, this one still stings a little bit. Stu Grayson was a big part of the Dark Order's business before his recent release, and his story is a bit of a quirky one. AEW taped a 12-man tag match on the 27th of April, 2022. That was set to air on the 2nd of May edition of Dark Elevation. And it did. You know what else happened that day? Grayson's contract with the company expired and he left. Yes, he technically appeared on programming after he was already gone. Stu's post-match claw pose would be his last hurrah in the promotion. He debuted with a bang back during the first Double or Nothing pay-per-view in 2019, but opportunities had become more limited in the increasingly overlooked Order stable since then. Number 5, Awesome Kong. Awesome Kong had been cast as Brandy Rhodes' ticket to the top of the women's division when she burst into view during the summer of 2019. The deal with Kong seemed like a no-brainer. Her experience and star power meant she could help the division develop. Things, though, didn't really pan out as Khan and company might have intended there. Brandy's dark nightmare collective story was, at best, flat, and Kong's looked less awesome by standing next to such a show. Finally, All Elite decided to pull the plug by having Mel and Luther of the collective kick the crap out of Kong following Mel's loss to Hikaru Shida on the 4th of February 2020 AEW Dark episode. Security then marched out to help Kong to the back as fans applauded her efforts and figured a babyface turn was incoming. That didn't happen. Instead, she went up to start filming the doomed 4th season of Netflix's Glow, and then got released by AEW on the 1st of June 2021. Number 4, Big Swole. Here you can see Big Swole celebrating a 2-minute win over Ali Catch on the 21st of September 2021 episode of AEW Dark. That, as it turned out, would be her last celebration in a company ring. Things kinda, and this is a bit of an understatement, got a bit messy from there, and Tony Khan had a PR nightmare. You'd have to go back to All Out 2020 for the real beginning of the end for Swole, though there she worked a dreadful tooth and nail cinematic style brawl with Britt Baker that proved to be a dire start to the pay-per-view. After that, Swole only worked 3 more times on the A-Show Dynamite. Frustration took hold, and she went on to criticize the lack of diversity in AEW. The resultant beef with Tony has been squashed by both sides since, but Khan did say he let Swole's contract run out in November 2021 because he felt her wrestling wasn't good enough. Not only that, but this diversity row affected other wrestlers on the roster too. Number 3, Lio Rush. Namely, it affected Lio Rush's career. Rush took to Twitter and publicly called for Tony Khan to apologize for his comments on diversity in the wake of Big Swole's own remarks. That happened at the tail end of 2021, and it effectively brought the curtain down on Leo's AEW run. He wasn't seen on AEW TV after that, and the promotion let his contract tick down come February. Let's just say that any chances Rush had of an extension went up in smoke due to this controversy. But he did later say that he sat down to have an amicable chat with Tony about everything. But still, Rush's career in All Elite ended when he hopped on social media to pile on the boss. Rightly or wrongly, he was considered a loose cannon who wasn't nearly important enough on programming to get away with such behavior. One tweet was all it took, and Lio was gone. Number 2, Brandy Rhodes. The aforementioned Nightmare Collective idea must be considered as one of AEW's worst from the first 3 years of promotional activity, but at least the nightmare is over. Brandy's brawl with Paige Van Zandt on the 2nd of February Dynamite proved to be Rhodes' last showing on AEW TV. She packed up her bags and left both her character role and her gig as Chief Brand Officer, and together the couple officially departed AEW on the 15th of February. And number 1, Cody Rhodes. Yep, no prizes for guessing that this entry was going to be the one topping this list. The final year or so of Cody's AEW run will always be a talking point. Boos started to rain down on him during a 2021 feud with Malachi Black, and fans even tossed his weight belt back towards the ring on the Thanksgiving Eve edition of Dynamite. Things were not going well on the babyface front. Wheels were spinning in Rhodes' head backstage too. He's since claimed that Dan Lambert handing him the old WWF title, a belt his father had held unofficially in the 70s, reignited his lust for WWE gold. A now or never thought entered Cody's head, and he decided to make a grand return to Vince McMahon's promotion. Before leaving, Rhodes lost a fantastic TNT title ladder match to Sammy Guevara on the 26th of January episode of Dynamite. There, on AEW's flagship, he could be seen selling on the mat post-defeat. Cody's eyes darted around the place, but they'd soon be firmly focused on WrestleMania 38. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Let us know in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And subscribe to What Culture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. Plus, you can let us know your thoughts on Twitter at WhatCultureWWE, and you can find me on there at Adam Wilborn. Thanks for watching. I've been Adam from What Culture, and I'll see you soon.